Hi, thanks for joining me. Today, our workout focuses on chest and back muscles. All you'll need for this workout is a Physio band. And I'm going to be standing for the exercises, but you are welcome to have a seat. There'll be very few modifications between seated and standing, and I'll try to point those out as we go. So let's get started. We'll get started with a few warm-up exercises, and then we'll get moving with that Physio band from there. All right, shoulders are set, core muscles engaged. Let's pick an arm and do some small shoulder circles to the back. Just want to get the joints and muscles warm and ready to go. Good, last 3, 2, and 1. Let's circle to the front. Doing one side at a time also gives us an opportunity to focus on how that side feels today. So you can kind of pay attention to this movement, any of the movements that we do, how it feels for your shoulder and through your chest and back, and make any adjustments you need to once we get that resistance band in hand today. Last 2 and 1. Awesome. Let's go up and over. We're going to start cross body and sweep to come up and over. Now, if your shoulder is maybe a little bit uncomfortable when you reach up overhead, or you find that you don't have great range of motion overhead, you can make it lower. So you can make it more face level, or this can be a really big sweeping move all the way up over your head. Good, last 2 and 1. Awesome. We're going to take this into a forward punch that's a little bit cross body, or a forward press, I guess. It can be with a fist, more like a punch, or an open-handed press. Good. Let's do 2 more. And 1. And then let's switch to the other side and get those same warm-up exercises done on the second side. Good. Shoulder circles to the back. Let's do 3 more. And then circling to the front. Two more here. And 1. Awesome. From there, we did our crossbody overhead reach. So again, if this is too high a reach for your shoulder, it's not happy about this move, we're going to go a little bit lower, more like eye level, just paying attention to how this side feels as well. Good. We'll do about 3 more here. And 1. Awesome. And then what's the other one we did? We did our forward press. There we go. That's the one I wanted. Forward press or forward punch. A little bit of crossbody movement here. Good. Let's do 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Let's move both arms together now that we've kind of tuned in to each side separately. So let's do both a push and a pull motion to start with here. We're going to stay upright. And we're going to think about the movement of our shoulder blades to bring our arms back towards our body. So pressing away and then pulling in, shoulder blades squeeze. That's our rhomboids activating to pull our arms back through to our body. Good. Let's go a little bit higher. Keeping the shoulders low, so in a set position here. And then maybe you'll even go a little bit higher all the way up overhead. We're now warming up our lat muscles a little bit here as well on the downward pull. Let's do 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, and then the last thing I'd like to do right now is a hinge. Just a reminder on the hinge before we get started, we will have an option of hinging for one of our back exercises a bit later. Whether you're seated or standing, it needs to be with a long spine here. So you're thinking about moving from the hip crease where your legs attach to your torso to hinge forward and come back up tall as one unit. So if I'm thinking about staying in a hinge position for any amount of time, I'm thinking about looking slightly forward, not looking down at my toes because that brings me out of that long line through the spine. Good. While we're here, let's just do a few more row movements. So we're going to hinge to reach, pull it to hip level. So you can imagine that you're picking up a big box and bringing it in to your body to carry. Good. We'll do 2 more here. And 1. Awesome. All right, we are ready to get going on our resistance bands exercises for today. We're going to start with a chest exercise. Again, this one can be seated or standing. For the first set, we're going to stay with our feet firmly planted, about hip width apart. If you're seated, a nice base of support for your feet there as well for some good contact points as we move. We're going to punch to a target that's straight ahead of us. You're welcome to take your hands, take the band and wrap your hands so that you don't have to hold on to the band quite so tightly. If you have arthritis or grip strength issues, this is a great way to be able to hold the band with more control. So our first exercise is going to be a forward punch on each side and then a crossbody punch on each side. So we'll do 10 of those in total, and let's get started now. Shoulders set, core muscles engaged. Punch forward, punch cross body, chest muscles squeeze. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5, control that band on the way back as well. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. We're going to unwrap the band. We will come back to do a very similar set of exercises again in a little bit for the chest, but we're going to alternate right now between a chest and a back exercise. So our back exercise is going to be a row. This first row set we're going to do with the band out front, and then we'll change it up a little bit for round number 2 as well. We're staying in our same nice base of support position here. Shoulders are set, core muscles are engaged. And I think we'll take this into 2 different row heights as well, kind of like we did with the chest press. We're going to start at about chest level and pull in. And then we're going to pull in also at belly button level. So we'll do 2 rows to count as 1 move in each set. All right, so core muscles are engaged. I want to think a little bit about the length of my spine so that my chin doesn't pop forward as I do these as well. So here we go. We're rowing chest level, waist level. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, thinking about those shoulder blades pulling to center each time. 9, and last one here is 10. Good, shake it out. Excellent. All right, we are headed back to chest exercise. Round 2, we're changing things up a little bit for this one. So we are still going to actually do 2 moves per count. But this time we have an option. So if you're seated, you will have your stance the same as you did before, most likely, both feet even, nice base of support. If you're standing, you have an option of either staying in a split stance or stepping through the move as we go. So we have 3 different options here: seated, both feet firmly planted; standing in maybe a split stance position; or standing and movement with each action that we do. Okay, so I will demonstrate and then we'll get going with the count here. So we're gonna come into a little bit of a wider position to do a big sweeping punching move. Again, this band could be wrapped instead just to save my hands a little bit. We're stepping forward with the opposite foot. So perhaps you are in this stance to stay for the full set, because we're just doing one side at a time, or perhaps you're stepping here. So here we go. We're gonna go forward step, chin level, chest level. So that would count as 1, okay? We'll stay on that side and do our full count of 10, then we'll move to the other side and do the same. Shoulders are set, opposite foot is stepping forward or in a split stance to stay there. We are going chin level, chest level is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. So maybe this side you did one way and you want to try it a different way for side number 2 as far as lower body action. That's just fine, or stick with what you're most comfortable with. Here we go, same thing. Opposite foot is stepping forward, hand is pressing to chin level and then to chest level out front. We're going chin, chest for 1, 2, 3, keep that shoulder low. 4, big sweeping move. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one here is 10. Awesome. You can unwind your hands, shake out your shoulders, take a few big breaths in and out. And we are getting ready to do another row motion. Okay, so for this one, we have an option of doing band out front, wider row, or we can take the band down to 1 foot. Now this should be both an option for seated or standing. So if I'm seated, I can still do the same exercise that we're going to do, likely from an upright position, although hinging, as I'm going to demonstrate standing, is also an option for us. So that is the seated version. Standing, which is where I'll be for the exercise. Make sure that you're careful getting that band under your foot. If you need to sit down or you decide that it's best to stay seated for this exercise, that is absolutely fine. We're going to be in a little bit of a split stance here just so we can soften out our knees and get over top of that front foot, giving ourselves some good support here. And we are going to row just for a count of 10, nothing fancy for this one. Imagining that somebody's pulling you up by the elbow to squeeze your shoulder blade to center, arm coming just a little bit wide. I could always have the chair here for some support as well, just to keep my alignment. It's not a bad idea. All right, so here we go. Rowing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. You can step out of that side. Again, just be careful as you're moving through to do the other side, especially if you're standing and you're getting that band under your foot. I like the split stance. Again, it just softens out our stance just a bit so that we have that weight over the front foot, especially as we hinge. Nice long spine here, looking slightly forward as opposed to down at your feet. And wide row. Here we go for 10. Good. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, you can unwind yourself from that band. We just have one more exercise to do, and that is our lat pull downs. In an ideal world, to use our lat muscles with resistance training, we'll have something like they would have at the gym, the lat pull down machine. So something is up overhead that we need to grab onto and pull down, activating our lat muscles, which live at the sides of our upper back. However, most of our houses don't have a machine like that, so we need to make do. And with the band, we can do that by having both hands either overhead or at eye level, and then pulling down to chest level. So that's what we're going to do now. This is a great one to be seated for, and maybe even back on your chair if you need that little bit of extra support. I don't want this to feel like it's a low back exercise. That is not the intention. Okay, so from here, we're going to reach overhead if it feels good, eye level if that feels better. I'm gonna stay at eye level today. Again, that band could be wrapped, and we're pulling tension on the band as our arms come away from our side until the band hits us at chest level. And then we're reaching back to full extension out front with our shoulders staying away from our ears. So we'll do 10 like this, and then we're gonna change it up and sneak a few more in at the end of this set, okay? So here we go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Just bring it down for a little reset. We're going to come back to that same position. And as I said, I'm just going to sneak a few more in. So we'll do 5 more per side. That changes the move just slightly. So now we're going to reach both arms up to eye level or overhead. We're going to give ourselves maybe just a little more band. And now we're going to pull down long to our side for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Bring it down, reset. Let's do the same on the other side. Long pull down at your side. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. All right, we're done with the band. Let's do a couple of stretches together just to finish things off today. The stretch that I like for chest involves a chair or the wall. We could use either. I'm going to use the chair today. You could have a hand on the wall at chest level or just a little bit lower and do the exact same thing that I'm doing with the chair. Hand is on the chair, stepping away just enough to give ourselves some space to stretch. So you don't need to feel like you need to be twisted around in any way. I'm staying long through my spine. I haven't rotated through my spine. I've just taken, I don't know, maybe a 60-degree turn. Good. So you're thinking about taking those nice even breaths in and out, giving ourselves some space to stretch. So if you expand through your chest on the inhale and then release by keeping that length on the exhale, we get that stretch through chest and front shoulder on this side. Awesome. Let's do the same on the other side. So again, my hand could be on the wall. I would be doing like this instead, small step. Or at the chair, also taking a small step to just pivot away from that hand to give some space to stretch through chest and front shoulder. Again, don't forget to take those nice even breaths in and out, just giving yourself a little bit more space to stretch. Good, and come on back through center. All right, let's stretch out through our rhomboids next. Shoulder is set. We'll take one arm and sweep it across body. Elbow stays straight and my shoulder stays low here. So for this one, we're giving some space for my shoulder blade to come away from backbone to get that stretch through the rhomboid that lives between the shoulder blade and backbone. Good, and then resetting to do the same on the other side. Make sure to keep that shoulder low. If you find that it creeps up by your ear as you take your arm across, give it a little reset, take it low, and then sweep that arm across. Awesome. And then for our last stretch today, we're going to stretch our lat muscles. This one, as all of the exercises, can be done seated or standing. I'm going to stay standing, but I'm going to have one hand on my chair just for a little bit of support here. Again, this will be dependent on your shoulder. If you found that the overhead moves were uncomfortable for you, you're going to stay a little bit lower. Or if you can get a big overhead move going, maybe even straight arm where you have an active press of your hand towards the ceiling as you do this one. We get that nice long stretch all the way down your side body. Good, ease your way out of that one. Same thing on the other side. Again, you can have a chair there for support if you like, or seated for this stretch. Active stretch, pressing the base of your hand up towards the ceiling. Awesome. Bring it down, shake it out. Thanks for joining me today as we worked our back and chest with that resistance band. Hope to see you again.